Well, hello, everybody. Welcome to the show. Trucker Todd here. Time for In Case You Missed It. Tonight's going to be a little bit different show than what we've done before in the past. Oh, gosh. So, in the past, I've been accused of being Mr. Swift, only in it for the referrals. Tonight's episode might change your mind just a little bit. But before we do that, I want to welcome everybody here. Chris Bollinger's with us, the mayor's here, and John is here. I just got to meet him recently. I believe it was yesterday. My days are kind of running together. Looks like Jonah Green is here. I'm waiting just a few minutes to get into the meat and potatoes of everything in case notifications just went out. Want to give everybody time to get here. But let's start with the fuel surcharge. Since I didn't do a Tuesday video, I didn't get this information out. I've put it at the ticker at the bottom. And so the fuel surcharge this week, national price of fuel was $4.44.4 a gallon, down from $4.53.9 last week. Fuel surcharge also went down as a result of that at 53.2 cents per mile, down from 54.8 last week. And on a good note, the West Coast fuel surcharge finally left the kind of level 8 cents per mile that it had been and went up to 9 cents per mile. Also want to give you guys a load board update. Due to influence from another channel, they're moving our meeting till Tuesday, which works good for me too. So on Tuesdays, I'll start having really fast, accurate load board updates. Currently, they're holding it at 30 people because it's taken a ridiculous amount of time to add new names. They're telling us around 20 minutes per person. And so they don't want to take people off the other fires they're putting out to try to add new people and then have more people with the same problem. So it's still on pause. Hopefully they'll have that open soon. They said there's about 60 people waiting on the waiting list. And if your name is not on the waiting list, email me in the description below and I'll get you the email of who you can contact to get your name on that list, or you can contact your OOC or somebody like that. Rapid Response, I think, can get you on there as well. Okay, in the news this week, in case you missed it, Super Ego, and this is kind of an older story, but I just now saw it. Cash is King Trucking did a story on it this week on his channel. Super Ego, which they've got a bunch of companies under them. Some of the big YouTubers here at Swift have worked for them. They're being sued in a class action suit right now for misclassification and for skimming off the top. So they had some ads go out saying that they were paying 88% of the gross. It turns out they were skimming a little off the top, allegedly, let me say that. And so drivers weren't actually getting 88%. There was some other ouija-waji stuff going on there that made the lawyers feel there's a case for misclassification and some other things as well. So the lawsuit was filed in August. Somehow it fell through the cracks, and I didn't see it till Cassius King did a story on it. And I wanted to pass that on to you because I know all of us either know somebody that worked at Super Ego or we personally did. I've never worked for them. You know how I feel about those Chicago area-based foreign-owned companies. Also in the news this week, TA got bought out by BP, British Petroleum. Man, my tongue ain't working tonight. And BP, as you guys know, has a lot of convenience stores. I'm not sure if this is a great move or not. I think TA has really gone down the last few years. And so anything BP could do has to be an improvement because TA and Petro just aren't even a shadow of what they used to be. And so we'll see how that goes. The purchase price was around 1.3 billion, if I remember correctly. And so we'll see what happens. You know, TA and Petro had plans to take out all their sit-down restaurants, put small fast food restaurants in there, and then have a few motel rooms like they used to in the old days. Usually the upstairs portion of the TA truck stop had motel rooms you could rent, and they kind of went away from that. And who knows what BP will do with it, or if they'll take it more in the way of a convenience store. But that was big news this week. It now means that the big five are all independently owned. And so, or at least that's what the article I read this morning said. It was on Freight Waves. You guys can head over there and check that out if you want to. As you guys know, this yesterday I went on the Truckers Coach TV YouTube show and his roundtable. A lot of people were surprised that I went on there. I was surprised that I went on there. I can assure you it's not going to be a regular deal. That was a one-time thing. And so I wish them the best, but I won't be. Like I told you in that original video, I'm really busy and I just don't have the time to do that show on a regular basis. If they can come up with a reason occasionally that they want me to come on there, I might go on there occasionally. But it's not going to be a regular deal for sure. Let me get to a few of you guys' things and then we'll jump into the rest of this. We're only at 26 right now. I'm trying to give everybody a chance to get in here before I explain the Swift thing, because it's going to be a pretty big deal when I talk about it. Let's see what we got here. AC says people are giving their trucks back because there are no loads. Maybe. I ran 3,000 miles this week, and I've had good weeks and bad weeks. There's definitely parts of the country that are struggling right now. I've talked to drivers that have struggled a little bit, but it seems like if you stay persistent, you can find a load to keep you moving. Like I said, I did 3,000 miles this week, and I could have done more. I'm trying to work my way back to Texas for doctor's appointments. Owner ops are falling behind in their truck payments. Yeah, I don't see how that happens, and I know that's cold-hearted for me to say. I've only been in the hole twice since I've been here, to the best of my knowledge, maybe 3 times, and in all cases, it was because I had a load that delivered a day after the cutoff, and I wasn't, in theory, really in the hole. The first time, I was supposed to T-call a load, and they fixed my truck so quick that I ended up saying, well, I'll just go ahead and deliver the load. So I haven't found it that I have any trouble making expenses. It takes me about 1,100 miles a week to be not in the hole, and that's counting fuel and everything. Actually, it's closer to 1,000, but I call it 1,100. My good friend Joe Wentz is here. Good evening, my friend. Looking forward to the show. You guys, he has started a new deal on his channel. It's typically music, but he's doing a kind of a truck driver thing in the eyes of a company driver, and it's really good and really well produced. If you guys hadn't checked it out, he released another one today, and it's really good. I'm enjoying that series. He's got 2 episodes out in that series so far, and if you guys get a chance, check him out. Swift isn't doing owner operators right. I'm going to talk about that tonight. I hope you'll stick with me. It looks like we're peaking at 27 right now. There's some other people on, but we're going to jump into that real quick. Hensley is back. I've never watched him, but I've heard a lot of people talk about him. Hey, Trucker Dan, glad you're here, man. John says he's thinking about it. He's sitting again. Man, I thought you were, when I saw you yesterday, you was picking up a load. I figured you'd be running good. Jonah Green says he runs good miles. So let's do that now. Let's talk about Swift. Last night when I was on Jason's show, some things were said that really concerned me. And you guys know I've got some self-imposed stuff going on myself. Let me say hi to Coach is here. Thanks, Coach. I appreciate that. Some things were said on the show that really bothered me last night. For the longest time, and I mean, for as far back as I can remember, they've told us on the straight lease. Well, first of all, let me back up even more. At first, they told us it was a walkaway lease. Now they don't really want us calling it a walkaway lease, even though by most truck drivers' definition, it's a walkaway lease. But anyway, now they're saying you can't pay your truck off early if you're in a straight lease. Well, the contract doesn't say if you can or can't, but it goes through there and has the stipulated loss value of what your truck is worth every week. And so right now mine's probably 100. I hadn't looked at my contract today. It's back in the sleeper, but it's probably 180,000 or so. Now, if I walked in their office with $180,000 right now, why wouldn't they let me pay off the truck? Why would they want to wait 3 years to get their money if they could get it right now? And so I don't know that I understand that. They also said we've been telling people up until this point, if you're in an MRP lease and you get to the end and you don't have enough for your balloon payment, that they would finance it for you. Now they're saying maybe they will, maybe they won't. They don't know. Well, you can't make a business plan for 3 years from now based on a maybe. You need to know for a fact so you can make plans. And there's just all kinds of stuff like this that has come up lately. And there's some behind the scenes stuff that I won't even talk about tonight. So for that reason, I'm making some changes. And I suggest that each and every one of you that are leased onto Swift consider making similar changes. A lot of people don't know this, but about a week ago, I purchased a truck in Illinois. I purchased a pre-EGR, pre-def 2008 Volvo, and I'm going to pick it up the last weekend of this month. I haven't decided if I'm going to keep the truck or trade it in or sell it. And but I'm going to pick it up in Illinois, drive it back to Texas, and make a decision at that point. I still think the Swift lease is a good deal, but I think that we all need to have a backup plan. And I've said that in other videos. And I'm gonna get back to everybody's comments. I want to read Trucker's Coach comment real quick. Yeah, exactly. They also said they wouldn't finance the balloon, and Jason and I were both told they would. And if things have changed, they've changed. But you can't have it this way one week. You know, we were told they were going to start charging a down payment. The down payment went away. It might come back March 1st, which is what, less than 2 weeks from now. And so we don't know if the balloon payments, if the down payment is coming or not coming. We don't know if people are going to get 2 weeks or 4 weeks of truck payments. And all this uncertainty makes it real hard for Jason and I, and I don't want to speak on Jason's behalf. You guys can ask him what his opinion is. But it makes it real difficult for me personally to tell people information about the company when it's constantly changing and we're not being updated. Now, switching off of Trucker's Coach, because I'm going to talk about some other YouTubers, and I want to be very clear. I'm specifically not talking about Trucker's Coach right here. There's a couple other guys with a very, very small YouTube channel that they come on Tuesdays, coincidentally at the same time as me. And I'm not going to say their name on here because I don't want to give them any attention. They've done everything they can to destroy me. And it's gone back to when we had the Swift insurance debacle, which was also a chaotic mess. And they didn't like that I scooped them on the story. I did not mean to scoop them on the story. My OOC, which is like a fleet manager, called me and said, hey, Todd, this is what's going on. I'm telling all my drivers. I said, is it okay for me to do a video about it? He said, yeah, it's fine. I'm telling everybody about it. So I did a video, And then he found out later that he wasn't supposed to have made it public. It was a private deal. So I went out and found my own insurance. And the link or the information for that insurance is in a video I did called How to Get My Exact Insurance. You guys can check that out. Basically, I went to OIDA. You ask for a lady named Linda Young and tell her you want what Trucker Todd's got. Well, these guys immediately called Swift. They tried to get my insurance canceled. And when that didn't work, they went to the airwaves and started bad mouthing me. And they've been bad mouthing me ever since. They came out with an alternative insurance plan, which is more expensive than mine. And so that's what they did. But anyway, they've also made it, the Tuesday show. I had commitments from several people that were higher up in Swift that were supposed to come on the show. One of them said specifically they wanted to come on in February, and I've emailed that person twice. I haven't heard back from them. Another one said, that he would like to come on at least once a month, and that he was going to bring some other Swift people on. I haven't heard from any of those people as well, and so I'm just taking some proactive steps here. I love this truck, I do, and I never thought I'd love a Freightliner. And there's no doubt that Volvo is going to be less reliable. It's definitely not as pretty, but I've already got commitments from several companies that I could go to work there should I leave here. I have no plans to leave Swift at this time, but we've got to have some stability here, and we've got to have people say what they mean and mean what they say, and things can't be constantly changing. And if they are going to be constantly changing, then as being one of the larger YouTubers at Swift, I need to be in that loop. And those other guys that they're supporting, and again, I'm not talking about Truckers Coach here, don't even have a tenth of what I've got on YouTube. Well, I'll take that back. Maybe they've got about an eighth of what I've got. But anyway, enough about that. So yes, I did buy a truck. Yes, I'm bringing it to Texas. My son's a diesel mechanic. He's going to go over the truck, make sure that it's safe. If not, he's got his girlfriend has a relative that wants to buy the truck. I'm also in contact with a couple of dealerships about trading it in for something newer if it's not something I can go long term with. And it doesn't cost me nothing to park it and save it for a rainy day if I need it either. So right now I'm doing something I wasn't anticipating doing. I'm definitely looking at other options and formulating backup plans because I'm just not real happy with how things are going right now. I'm tired of, I had 3,000 miles this week. My miles have been fine, but I'm tired of going to areas and being told, oh, you're in a bad area. And you say, well, where's a good area? And they go, oh, it's slow everywhere. And then later they find me a load. So I'm getting my miles, but I'm working way too hard for them. I didn't come to a mega carrier so I could scratch and claw for loads. And so I hope I've been clear on that. I'm sure this is going to be recorded and replayed and all of that. I hope that when people do that, they'll represent what I truly said. But yeah, I want everybody to know that I share your frustration right now. Let's see what else we got here. So if you're a lease purchase at Swift, there is no logo on the truck. That's how you tell a company truck from a lease truck. There's a small sticker on the back that says lease to Swift Transportation, but it's not very big. But the stickers that are on the top of the cab and on the doors, those are removed, and that's how you tell the difference. Hey, Gary Cook, thanks for joining me. Yeah, Mayor, second to that. When you're an owner-operator, there's no logo. And Chris is agreeing. John says he delivered at 11 this morning. No load's been sitting at the Loves since. Well, I picked my load up a day early, and after this stream tonight, I'm going to head towards Louisiana. I was supposed to be home on the 20th, wife's appointment's on the 21st. It looks like I'm going to miss it unless I do like a 700-mile deadhead. But I'm going to be working with them to see if I can deliver this load early, and maybe we can find me something over there or something like that. Yeah, Mara was told the same thing as me and Coach. Chris is agreeing with Coach. Coach agrees that some things have changed since last night. Thanks, Coach. Appreciate it. Always have a parachute. Yeah, I've been talking about that a lot more recently. You guys might remember when Falcon closed that guys were stranded and didn't have money to get home. Fuel cards were cut off. You guys need to have, even if you're a company driver, you need to have $500 or $1,000 in a savings account so that if your company goes belly up, you can rent a car, rent a U-Haul or whatever and get home. You don't want to be stranded and at the mercy. A lot of companies stepped up and said, we'll help you get home. But the recruiters are going to bug you to death to get you to go to work there. And you don't want to go to work for a company just because they helped you get home. Have a little bit of money in savings or a credit card put back that you don't use for rainy day stuff like that, because you just never know. All right, let's see what Coach said. I hope he's still here. I'll say this: you need to get to have a backup plan at all times. When I get strong enough again, I might buy one too. Now I really got to go. LOL. Yeah, we'll see you, Coach. It's not a bad idea. I'll tell you another advantage to it, like that older Volvo I got. If I'm able to run that truck, and I'll know on that trip from Illinois to Texas, think of all the overhead. I've already figured it'll save me about $3,100 a month. Now, should I be blowing that $3,100 a month at a casino? No, I should be putting that money in a savings account, because without a doubt, I promise you that Volvo is going to break more than my Freightliner does. Not because Freightliner is better than Volvo or anything like that, but just because it's older. It's got more miles on it. Now, it's got a rebuilt engine. They did an in-frame about 250,000 miles ago, and the transmission was rebuilt less than a month ago. So, the brake drums and everything's been replaced. It's had a lot of work done to it, and so you'd like to think that it's going to be a good, reliable truck. Older Volvos are known to have some electrical issues, and that's what I'm concerned about, and that's what I hope to see. It does have the ISX Cummins engine. It does have 358 gears, and it does have a 10-speed manual transmission. So it's a pulling truck. It's definitely not a speed demon with 358s in it, but it should get on down the highway nicely, and we'll see. Wesley says he's coming to Swift soon as an IC. Again, it's still a good program, and I'm going to say that no matter what. But just when you do a lease, you need to be prepared that either you're going to stay and pay the truck off, or you're going to have it's going to springboard you to a point where you can buy a truck. And I still see a lot of benefits in a lease, especially if you had a personal problem and needed to get out of a lease or something like that. But I don't like, and Dart did this. They had a program called the OPI board, which is what I was on. And that's where we had 87 brokers, and we picked our own loads and negotiated our own rates. And before they knew it, they had a waiting list of 150 drivers that wanted to be on it. And it started going to their head, and they started saying, "Oh, we're going to, change things. You can't haul this kind of stuff. You can't do this. You can't do that." And they even started making guys that were signing new contracts agree to stay out 26 days. And so every company's guilty of it when they get a little, and I'm not tooting my own horn here. Some of you are thinking I am, but I like to think, and several of you have told me that I have helped Swift's reputation. And many of you, I can't even count how many of you have said, I would have never considered Swift if it wasn't for you. So that gives these companies carte blanche to start changing stuff because they think, oh, they're lucky to have us. We've got this load board now. We can do whatever we want, and people will just put up with it. And I won't. I'm going to stay here. I'm going to try to work things out, but I'm going to have a backup plan too. And I didn't get back to my point earlier about my self-imposed rules. I try not to mention people's names on here without their consent. And so you've noticed that I hadn't mentioned any people at Swift. And I also don't come on here and air dirty laundry or problems until I give them a chance to fix it. And I feel like I've done those things to a satisfactory point where it's okay to talk about them at this point. JF Trucker says he's new here. Thanks for coming in, man. I'm glad you're here. Run Texas only with own authority. Laredo to Dallas, 280 a mile. Yeah, but see, I live in Lubbock, so from Dallas to my house is about 350 miles if I want to go home. And so it's not really convenient that side of Texas. One of the companies that I've been in contact with does have a Texas only thing. They will accept that Volvo, and they haul groceries to a grocery store chain that we've got several of their stores in Lubbock. And so I could be home several times a week. And I'm also talking to another company that I could run the load boards, get 88%, and do kind of what I did at Dart, but at a higher percentage. I was at 70% at Dart. But I still think this is a good deal. I don't like what I'm hearing right now. And maybe we'll get some clarification in the coming days. And maybe by next Thursday, I'm singing a whole different tune. But that's where I'm at right now. I agree with you, though. Texas is a big state, and I could probably just run Texas and be pretty happy. I know SOAR also had a Texas deal for a while, and I don't know if they still do or not. But I've heard kind of mixed reviews about SOAR transportation. Hey, Trucker Zoe, glad you're here. Good evening, Craig. Okay, I'm going to talk about this for a second. If I was you, I would stay away from Coach because he's only going to bring you down and drama to your channel. Coach has been really nice to me thus far. If you go back and watch that live last night, he had my email in the ticker. By far, we're not going to be doing videos together every week. Last night, it made sense to go on there. I'd say when it comes to trucking, we agree on probably 90% of things. There's just a few areas we disagree with each other on, and it's kind of a gray area where we might both be right and we might both be wrong. But we do approach our channels differently, and to some degree, we approach trucking differently. And so I'm not going to be on there a lot, but you never know. I might appear on there again before the end of the year. It's just not going to be a regular thing, and it goes back to timing. I didn't even do a video this Tuesday, and I mentioned earlier in the video, not Coach, but there's some other guys that are purposefully trying to bring havoc to my life, and so yeah. But as far as being cordial to me, Coach has been really, really cordial to me. And even you see him in the comments tonight. He's putting up good comments, and so it's not as drama filled as everybody might think it is. We're both just out here trying to make a living and take care of our families. I think it's still good. Some things now, not as was told to me, as the balloon payment, etc. Converting a straight to an MRP is now only. Yeah, I agree with you. And that's why I wrestled with myself today about how to do this video, because by no means do I want to come on here and make it sound like Swift is a terrible lease or that, nobody should do it. But at the same time, I don't want to come on here and say it's roses and rainbows and I'm happy with everything I heard last night either. And So that's what I'll say on that for now. And I'm sure we'll have more about it in the coming weeks. Next Thursday, if anything's said between now and next Thursday, I'll sure bring it to you. And when I go pick the truck up in Illinois, I'll do some videos. But I mean, keep in mind, folks, it's pre EGR, it's pre DEF, it's 2008 model. It doesn't look like a show truck, and I bought it dirt cheap, and I'll share those details with you. And so we'll see what happens. But that 1,200-mile test drive to Lubbock's going to tell a lot. And I've spent the last probably 2 weeks working on insurance and stuff like that, trying to figure out how I could legally transport it without a DOT number and things like that. So it's even approved to Swift if I want to bring it on to Swift, but I don't know that I would do that either. I hope so, Lonely. I'm trying. I had a guy today that I thought was a friend of mine that accused me. He actually called me a crook and said that me and another YouTuber was only on here for referrals. And I laughed when he said it. I said, well, you need to watch tonight's video because I don't think any of you would call this video a recruiting video. So he asked Coach if he had seen that guy. Coach said he ain't worried about him. I had never even heard of him. So I try to keep the negative out of my life. I miss a lot of the stuff that's going on YouTube. Occasionally you guys will send me something and I'll watch it. But yeah, I try to avoid as much of that as I can. It's a full-time job driving the truck and doing the few videos that I do. The silliest things crack me up. Yeah, Parkway Transport makes you run out of state to make a $2 a mile bonus. If you've got an older truck, Parkway won't let you run out of state, is the way I understand it. They want you to run Texas only if you've got an older truck. But I talked to one of their drivers pretty extensively, and I'm still weighing my options as to what I'm going to do, if I'm going to stay, if I'm going to leave. But I can tell you this, I may keep it private where I go because I just don't know if that's something I want to publicize anymore. I've done it with the last 3 companies, and it's with varying results. I've been able to help a lot of people, but it's created a lot of stress and chaos in my life too. So I'm not sure. I'm kind of at a crossroads where I'm deciding what's next, or if it's going to be the status quo and I keep doing what I'm doing. JF Trucker's coming back on the road. Coach is happy about it. JF's been putting in applications. If there's ever a time when we can do that, we might do that. The problem is that I've been on his show so many times that generally we don't want to do the same show twice. So if we have something developing that we need him to come on, we might do that at some point. But you guys have seen us together on his channel enough times. You kind of know where he stands, kind of know where I stand. And we don't have any plans for him to come on right now, but never say never. When I made my last appearance on his show, I didn't think I was going back on there. And then I found myself on there last night. And so you never know what the future holds. And YouTube's a strange place. And if it makes sense, then we'll do another show together, either on his channel or my channel. But right now, we're both doing our thing, and things are working well for both of us. So I think we're in mutual agreement that, I'll go on his channel and be a commenter and watch him, and he'll come in here when he can and be a commenter and watch me. And so I think that's where we're at on that. I took a 0 yesterday because Swift had the pick time and delivery time both wrong. Sometimes the size of the company hurts. Yeah, even on the load board, they're struggling with sometimes the times will be wrong, and they're encouraging us uh, to call our OOC and verify the times before we book the loads. Um, in this particular load, like I said, I picked it up a day early, so the times didn't really matter. I've got really good at doing that, knowing how to talk to the warehouses. And the guy actually told me the load was ready yesterday. I could have picked it up yesterday. It showed a live load on my dispatch, and when I got here, it was a drop and hook. And I'm currently sitting in their drop lot right now, which is really, really dark, and doing this video here. As a matter of fact, I may roll my windows up in a minute. But yeah, it's that's going to happen. You got CSRs typing that information in the computer and getting in a hurry, and sometimes they're going to put something wrong or assume something. And let's see. Chris also says the left hand don't know what the right hand is doing. Yeah, and it seems to be as of late, because when I first got here, I got to tell you, I had really good luck with everybody, but I don't know why lately. You know, people will do something crazy and then just go home. They don't send you an explanation. I had a planner that sent me a trailer solution that was crazy. Like you couldn't even understand it. And so I called another planner and said, hey, this planner sent me this. Sorry, I'm near a military base. Should be clearing up soon. And he looked at it and he couldn't figure it out either. And I said, well, here's what I'm going to do. And I did that. And they ended up paying me for all the miles. So, you know, I didn't get screwed or nothing, but it was a really, really complicated ordeal. And I've got way more deadhead miles this week in that 3,000 than what I want. And so the final number will be tallied tomorrow, but it's looking like it's going to be over 1,000 miles of deadhead this week. All right, Coach, have a good one. He says that he'd come on if he was invited. You never know. In the coming weeks, me and Coach may have a conversation about that. It would be more of a Tuesday type deal when we do those type of things, and it just depends on you know, we have to talk and see what we'd talk about, things like that. So you know, I may bring him on and interview him about the MRP or something, or especially if he trades out of his truck into another one. It might be good to bring him on, and he can compare his two trucks, especially if he got another brand instead of Freightliner. Then he could tell us what he liked about the Freightliner better and what he liked about the other brand better. So I wouldn't say never, but I'll say right now there's nothing in the works, but you never know what the future holds. Gregory Spears says, good afternoon. Good afternoon, Gregory. Thanks for joining us tonight. I guess since the comments have kind of slowed down, I'll recap some of what we said earlier. I'm not going to do the fuel surcharge because we've got it running in the ticker at the bottom along with my email if you guys need to email me. But let's pick up with the load board. Again, it was they're going to move the meetings to Tuesday, so that means in the Tuesday show, I can give you guys a more updated kind of what's going on with it. It'll be fresher information, and they're still holding it 30. They're not adding any new people. They're hoping to add 10 a week soon, maybe in the coming 2 or 3 weeks. And there's currently about 60 people on the waiting list. You can contact Jerry White or email me, and I'll give you his contact information, or your OOC or Rapid Response, and they will get you on that list. Also, we talked about Super Ego having a class action lawsuit. It was filed back in August. Cassius King did a video about it, and one of my viewers that was in here earlier, John, sent me Cassius King's video, and I did some research on the internet about it. It's for misclassification, as well as the lawsuit alleges that Super Ego was skimming off the top, saying that they gave 88% of the gross, but it wasn't really 88%. So we'll see how those class actions go. Usually in a class action, the only people that make real money is the lawyer, but you never know. TA also got it bought out by BP for $1.3 billion. I got mixed emotions about that. Anything that bought TA or Petro has to be an improvement over what they had been lately. And but BP is more of a convenience store, and I'm not sure how that's going to go. I think truck stops in general have gone down a lot lately. The last two showers I've took, and it was at the same truck stop chain, uh, the previous person's washcloth was still in the shower, and it just makes you wonder how well they cleaned that shower if they didn't know that washcloth was there. Now, I'm not a germaphobe, but that does bother me when I see stuff like that or a big old long hair on the floor. Makes me wonder if they really swept or mopped or anything like that. And we've already talked about Trucker's coach, and he was even in the chat tonight. And we talked about Swift. I bought a truck, pre-EGR, pre-def truck, still takes an an ELD, and we're looking at picking that up the last weekend of this month. I'm going to fly to Chicago. The guy's going to pick me up, take me to the truck, and I'm going to drive it back. I've been working on getting insurance and permits and things like that. We can talk about any of those things if you guys want to. The mayor said that he had the same thing happen to him too. There was a washcloth in his shower. It's happened to me at 2 truck stops in a row. Both of them were Loves, and the Loves that I took a shower at this morning was nasty. The hinges were all rusted, and it looks like they had tried to paint over them. And so that's something. Hopefully BP will clean that up. But with them just being a convenience store for the most part, I'm not real optimistic about that. Wow, the other James Best is here. I haven't watched his show either, but I hear a lot of people talking about it, and actually the mayor recommended it to me. Said it's really funny, and he enjoys it. So at some point, it's on my to-do list to check out James Best. I get a lot of requests for check out this show, check out that show, and honestly, I can't watch everything and do all my other stuff, but he's definitely one that I'll be checking out in the coming weeks. Rooster Cruiser's here. Hello. Yeah, there may be some trolls in here. I'm just gonna be friendly to everybody till they say something ridiculous, and then we'll take care of that. So, what's your favorite beer, James Best? Yeah, I went through most of my life not wearing shower shoes, but being diabetic, it's not a bad idea. You get something on that floor in your foot as a diabetic, and it could be the end of your feet. So it's just a shame. I remember for the vast majority of my trucking career, showers were they seem to be held to a lot higher standard than what they are nowadays. And I came real close to filming it today because it was just terrible. Jonah Green says, "Don't leave your truck at the Houston yard. His got broke into." Yeah, that's from what I understand, that Houston yard is a fairly new yard. I'm sure that they're going to get some security and stuff over time, and that it's going to improve. I can't imagine they would leave it that way, but that really stinks. And in 25 years, I've never had my truck broke into, but I know as soon as I say that, it'll happen. So we're living in tough times right now. There's a lot of people struggling, and when people struggle, they get desperate, and when they get desperate, they do things like this. So hopefully that's a once in a lifetime experience for you, and you won't have it happen anymore. Yeah, well, it probably is a troll, but at least we're friendly to him. I'm gonna I'm going to treat the trolls with the way I would want to be treated. I'm going to treat them with respect and be nice to them until they cross a point where they can't. I had one today, the guy that called me a crook, and I told him, I said, I've spent the last few weeks helping you, and you're calling me a troll. I haven't made a penny off of you, and you're calling me a crook after I've spent the last 3 weeks trying to help you. And so, I'm going to try to kill these guys with kindness. I'm going to be nice to them as long as I can, and they can respond to that how they want to. They can be nice to me, or they can be mean to me, but I'm not going to be the one that initiates the meanness. The cheapest beer I can find, no price, no object, Heineken. I like that Michelob Ultra, the low carb beer. It's actually pretty good. MGD Light. I used to drink Coors Light, but I don't really drink it anymore. Bud Light. Mostly American beers, though. Well, if they've got security, then security's got some explaining to do. Maybe they need more security. Hopefully, they had cameras and they can catch who did it. What all was stolen out of your truck? Give everybody a minute to get their questions in. We're up to 37, so people are starting to come in. If we don't get a lot of questions, we'll probably wrap it up at the 1 hour mark. I've still got, I believe, let me look here. I've still got, I think, about 9 hours left of drive time. Yeah, 9.5 hours of drive time left today. So I can go pretty late in the night. I typically don't like driving overnight, but the last few days I've had to do it. And so Chris says, maybe the security guard did it. Yeah, that's funny. You never know. I've had I've had mechanics and stuff take little stuff out of my truck, change and stuff, and I it's not something I would do. All right, folks, it's that time in the show. It's time for a Coke Zero. Let's see what else we got. I spilled it on myself. They got a laptop and a dash cam. You guys might know I ordered a new HP laptop, and it arrived at the house the other day. I'll pick it up when I go home for the doctor's appointments, and then you'll probably see a change in some of those videos or some of these videos. I can do a virtual background and stuff like that. So we'll tinker with that a little bit. And I bought a really nice one, so hopefully the quality of videos will get better. And I'm excited to try it out. My other one bit the dust right before a live, and we've had a lot of phone issues and technical issues, and I'm trying to correct them. I know it's funny and fun to watch, but it's really stressful for me because I want to put out a good product. I'm doing good, Matthew. How are you? I started the show kind of griping and complaining about a few things, and so there's some changes coming for sure. I'm frustrated about a few things, but I had a good week. I ran. It's going to be right at 3,000 miles, and my deadhead was a little high, over 1,000 in deadhead. So we'll just see. A lot of guys are saying they're sitting in different parts of the country, and I personally haven't sat a lot, but I know a lot of guys that have, and it's got to get better. And I had another company. This was not Swift. Let me clarify this. Another company told me, well, Todd, here's what the problem is. Our sales department, up until now, they could sit at their desk, and people would call in and give them freight. And now, if they want freight, they got to go out and look for it. Okay, let's translate that to layman's terms. So up until now, they didn't have to do their job. And now, because of the economy, they got to do their job. I've told you guys that before I drove a truck, I sold cars. I've even managed a car lot. And if it's dead, and James and some of you others that sold cars can vouch for this, they don't say, oh, well, it's dead. Y'all can go watch TV till somebody shows up. They expect you to be on the phone. They expect you to be on Facebook trying to get people to the dealership. They even would pull out old applications from guys that backed out of car deals or girls that backed out of car deals, and they'd want you to call them and try to get them back on the lot. So that's sales. If you're in sales, it's your job to get the freight. And if the sales departments at these companies can't do it, then they need to get people that in there that could. And I told that company, I said, I'll go in there and sell freight for a month and show them how to do it. I bet I can book some loads. And they kind of laughed and they're like, you're awful confident. And I went to a sales school, and what they do is they hand you a pencil and they say, sell me this pencil. And you learn from selling a number 9 pencil how to sell. And they said, if you can sell this pencil, you can sell anything. And so I think that we've got some people that's become complacent in their job. And again, I'm not talking about Swift. This was at another company, but I think that's going on a lot at a lot of other sales departments. Thanks, Slip Dog. Thank you, Josh. Oh, that's great, man. Where are you at now, if you don't mind saying on the air? Yeah, again, I'm not having a bad week, but the problem I'm having is when things change. You know, I've talked about the other YouTuber that I'm friends with, and he's not at Swift. He's a flatbedder, and he went to a company in a lease purchase, and he said, "Well, the company said I'll loan me money if I go in if my truck breaks down and I can't afford to fix it." And he said, "So I'm not going to save money for maintenance. I'll just borrow from the company." And I told him, I said, "That's not a business plan. That's a safety net." And it's the same thing with what we're talking about here. Them financing it at the end is a safety net. It's not a business plan. So you should have the money for your balloon payment at the end. But we all know life happens. And if you get to the end and you don't have the money, you got to know for sure if that safety net's going to be there. Not maybe, not it'll change this week, it'll change that next week. Some of you are waiting to come to work here because you've got a bonus at your current company, and you're waiting to get that bonus before you quit your current company, or you've got some personal problems you've got to take care of before you leave the place you're at. You can't come here not knowing if there's going to be a down payment or how much the down payment's going to be, or if you're going to get 2 weeks of no truck payment or 4 weeks of no truck payment. And so these are just things they need to clarify and that need to be clear. I personally need to know if I can pay my straight lease off early or not. Up until a week ago, I was told we could. Now all of a sudden they're saying we can't. We need to know these things to run our businesses effectively, just like they need to know things. They do I will guarantee you with their finance people, they do a 5-year plan, they do a 10-year plan. And if they've got variables like this that throw that plan out of whack, they need to know so they can do countermeasures to prepare for that. And so that's why I bought that truck. It may sit at my son's shop and I may do nothing with it for some time, or it may go to work in March. We're going to see what happens between now and then. Exactly. When you're in sales, they say, get on the phone. We would have, and I sold in Amarillo for 3 years. We would have snow on the parking lot. There was a car lot at 10th and T Anchor in Amarillo, and you couldn't even see the cars in the parking lot because there was so much snow. And they didn't care. They didn't say, oh, the weather's bad, we don't expect you to sell nothing today. They wanted you to be on the phone trying to get people in. can you take the car to them and sell it to them at their house? I contracted several people at their house because I did the F&I too, which for those that don't know, F&I is finance and insurance. So I get the car finance, get the insurance for them, things like that. Well, Jerry, right now, if he's there, he's getting ready to leave because I'm in Eastern time. It's 7. Well, he should still be there. It's 4 there. But you got to remember, Jerry's getting a lot of calls. Omar got promoted, and so Jerry and Coretta are handling everything, and they do have a full plate. They'll get somebody else in Omar's place at some point, and it'll get better. But poor Jerry, I wouldn't want his job. He has a lot on his plate for sure. Yeah, sales is a blast. I get asked sometimes what would I do if I wasn't driving a truck. I'd probably go back to sales. I loved it. The income's a little more sporadic than trucking, but it's fun. I had people that would buy me Christmas presents. They'd see me at Walmart, run up, give me a hug, thank me. But I never felt like I was ripping anybody off or taking advantage of people. I really tried to help people, and it's no secret I miss being in sales. But I think I've probably painted myself in a corner to where I'm going to be driving a truck for the foreseeable future. What kind of tools, spare parts do you carry on your truck besides a hammer and duct tape? LOL. What else do you need in a Freightliner besides a hammer and duct tape? I've got a regular toolkit, and I carry another pigtail, and I carry light bulbs, and I carry wiper blades, and I got a whole little kit under there. I've got some glad hand seals. I carry actually quite a bit of stuff. When I switched trucks at Roadrunner, they kind of made fun of me because they said it looked like I brought my house. But under the bunk, I've got all kinds of stuff. The secret to truck maintenance is knowing your limit and knowing what you can do. Now, YouTube can teach you a lot about a lot of repairs, but you need to know when you're over your head and let a professional do it. But just basic repairs, things that wouldn't void a warranty or things like that. I carry usually 2 gallons of antifreeze, even in a new truck like this. I carry usually a gallon or 2 of washer fluid. I got quite a bit of stuff under the bunk. I've got probably 6 or 8 pair of gloves. When I was in Laredo, this guy passed by. He said, "Hey, you want some gloves?" And I said, "Sure." And he gave me 4 or 5 pair of gloves. I've got them under the bunk. So yeah, I carry a broom, obviously, to sweep out trailers. Just all kinds of things like that. Carry usually 2 or 3 gallons of water, some spare food. I've got winter clothes, summer clothes, extra blankets, because not only do you need to be able to take care of yourself, you might need to help somebody else somewhere. Yeah, especially the secondary roads. They're going to get the interstates first, and the secondary roads are going to be last. Hey, Fran, glad you're here. I did, when I worked at Swift the first time, I was with them from 96 to 2001, but I started in 97 doing a dedicated deal. They used to call it the Texas Shuttle. Now they call it Swift Express. I was home every day, and I got paid a salary, and I did really good on that. But boy, at some point after 4 years of doing it, I was ready to go back over the road and see new country. And so dedicated can be nice, especially if you're kind of burnt out and need a break. But I really, people say do Texas only, all this. I really do like traveling the country. I met John the other day out here on the road, and so it's fun coming out here and meeting everybody and going to all the terminals and things like that. Matthew says he's with a small company now in Arkansas, just 30 miles or 50 miles from home. Well, that's a good deal. That job I had where I delivered to grocery stores and was home every day in Lubbock, I worked for a small company. He had about 100 trucks at the time, and even to this day, I still hear from them occasionally. They would love it if I came back there. But the problem is their health insurance is just too high, and it's not their fault. They're a smaller company and they're doing the best they can. But it's they don't get the big discounts that a big company does. And being self-employed, I can do healthcare.gov and really get some cheap insurance. Fran said they change things all the time. Yeah, I don't know if you caught the early part of the show, but that's a real problem for me, and I'm taking countermeasures because of it. It's I won't call it a deal breaker, but it's definitely an area of concern for me. Yeah, I enjoy meeting you guys out here and gals, everybody, and I got to make sure and do that. I offended a person by not mentioning all genders. I really enjoy meeting everyone out here whenever possible, and that's why I give my location so much. When I do a recorded video, I tag where I'm at. So if you guys are in the area, holler at me, and you never know, we may cross paths. If we do, I'll buy you lunch if I've got time. When I ran into John, he was in a hurry. He was going to pick up a load, and I was trying to get to North Carolina, and I knew I was going on Coach's show that night. So we were both in a big hurry, and we only saw each other for probably about 5 or 10 minutes. But normally I've got time to sit down and visit with you guys and pick your brain and learn from you, and hopefully y'all can pick my brain at the same time. That's a great question. Typically, when you do what I do on YouTube, you get 1 to 2 years, and eventually you'll say something that rubs somebody the wrong way. I had originally, there's videos where I said I'd planned to stay here the full length of my lease. It really depends on the economy. Uh, there's videos a year and a half, 2 years ago where I said I'd never work for a mega carrier and I'd never do a mileage rate, but economic conditions made it necessary for now. Now, something could happen in the world tomorrow and freight rates could shoot up and I could start looking then, or things could stay stagnant like this, like some of you think it will for the next 2 or 3 years, and I might stay here. It's definitely an issue when things start changing like we saw last night. I think Jason and I both felt like some things that we had been told had changed and we weren't made aware of it. And so you never know. I mean, and you don't know about Swift. They could sell out, they could go out of business. I'm going to be here as long as it makes sense for my business to do it, though. And the second that I think I can make more somewhere else or do better somewhere else, then I'm going to give that a good hard look as well. It's in the end, it's all about taking care of you and your family. But I'm not going to badmouth Swift. I still think it's a great place to work, but I think they need to have a couple of board meetings and sit down and hammer out the way things are, and that's the way things are. It's this way this week and it's this way next week. That doesn't work for anybody. And it makes it real hard for me to pass that information on to you guys because it's constantly changing. And I mentioned another YouTube channel. I'm not going to call them out by name. It's not Coach. That they've personally tried to sabotage me and sabotage the information I receive and tried to get my insurance canceled and things like that. So I've definitely got some people working against me, and that's why I'm buying that truck, and I've got some other things going on so that if the rug gets pulled out from under me, I still land on my feet. And I'd recommend everybody does the same. I'm not saying don't come here and don't lease, but I'm saying take care of yourself. Have a backup plan. Nobody's going to watch your back as well as you'll watch your back. Thanks, Chris. You're welcome, man. Thanks for being here. Good evening, Alex. Thank you for being here. So let's talk about this headset for a second. This is the Garmin Diesel. I think it's the 200. It's the one that has the other earpiece you can plug in over here. And I like it. I'm having a little problem. The foam up here is coming loose. I don't know if y'all can see it. So I'm going to have to get a hot glue gun and glue it or something like that. But it's expensive, anywhere from $350 to $400. And so it just depends if you think it's worth it for that or not. It's really good, but it'll only let you hook one phone to it. My Blue Parrot would let you hook 2 phones to it. but the Blue Parrot was a lot more glitchy. I had the 650 XT. I've still got it in the bunk, and I don't know if I'm going to use it with that new laptop or if I'll buy like a gaming headset and use that with it. But you're from Midland, Texas. Yeah, I used to go down there a lot. There's a trucking car lot or truck lot down there that sells trucks that they had a lot in Lubbock, and I would on my days off and spare time I would haul trucks back and forth between the two dealerships for them. So the best way to deal with heavy traffic is to avoid it. And the way you do that, for example, later tonight, actually, I'll be in Atlanta. If I see that I'm going to hit Atlanta in rush hour, I'll stop prior to getting to Atlanta and go eat something or walk around or something like that. Stretch my legs to where I don't hit in rush hour. And the other thing is just if you're in heavy traffic, it'll happen sometimes, accidents, things like that. Have a good following distance, have space around you. Just be patient. Weaving in and out of lanes doesn't get you anywhere any faster. It just makes it slower. Get on your CB, listen to what lane you need to be in. And that's the way you approach that. I hope I answered your question there. Friend says dedicated work is too hard, plus it's expensive to go home every day. Now you have to pay bills. Yeah. There's pros and cons to everything you do in life, and we've all got different priorities. Dedicated's great if you got small kids at home. That's why I did that one with Swift back in the day. I had 2 sons at home, and I wanted to be around them and be a part of their lives. And now they're grown and I'm an empty nester, and so it's not quite as important to be home as what it once was. But when I go home, I'm fully there. I spend a lot of time there, and you'll see when I go home this next time, it's for a week, but I'm flying out to Chicago and doing all these other things. But I'll still spend time with my son that lives there. My other one lives in Fort Worth. I can't spend time with him on that trip, and I'll go see my uncle and his family and things like that. Really, these people on YouTube or something else getting you canceled is a little bit over the top. Oh, it goes way further than that, friend. I've got people doing background checks on me, trying to find out where I live, trying to contact my family, calling Swift, pretending to be me, cussing people out, trying to get me fired. It's amazing. The more you try to help people, the more people try to hurt you. But there's people and I guess people think I'm dumb. There's people in here that I know for a fact they're trolls, and I'm still going to be nice to them as long as I possibly can, because there's always that 1% chance that I can turn them and they decide I'm not as bad of a guy as what they thought. When I was at Roadrunner, I had a guy, first name's Jim. He hated my guts the first time he watched my video, and then he got to know me, and now we're pretty good friends. And sometimes people's first impression of me is not the true thing. And so those of you that don't like me, and I like to think that about half the crowd here doesn't like me, that's okay. Hang around, and I'm still glad you're here. Ask me questions, and let's get to know each other. I might not be half as bad a guy as you think I am. So tonight I'm in Kinston, North Carolina. I just picked up a load. I'm sitting in their drop yard. I got permission from them to sit here and do this video. And then I'm heading to, what is that town? Walker, Louisiana, I think it's called. Let me go back and look. Yeah, Walker, Louisiana. It's scheduled for Sunday, but I'll probably be there Saturday and maybe even Friday. And so I'm going to try tomorrow to see if I can get my appointment time moved up. But yeah, that's what's going on here. Hey, Chris, glad you're here. You missed a lot. I said several things that I'll probably be explaining tomorrow to office personnel. If you get a chance, go back and watch the replay. There's been a lot go on this week. You wish Swift would come up with better merchandise designs to buy. Yeah, I'm one of those guys that whatever company I work for, I buy a lot of their clothing and wear it. I've got on a Swift shirt right now, and I'm always curious to see what they come out with. That was one thing about Dart. They had a pretty extensive merchandise line, and sometimes they'd let you charge it to your settlements. Sometimes they wanted you to pay. I never cared. I'd do either one. And yeah, but yeah, hopefully there'll be more stuff coming out. I don't even know who heads that up. The lady in Phoenix that runs that store is really nice. I can't even remember her name. See, that's why I don't like social media and don't go on channels. These people are insane. Yeah, there's a lot of people that they want to sit at the cool kids table and they're not at the cool kids table. And they think the way to get at the cool kids table is by taking somebody else down. And that's not how you get there. And I'm not saying I'm at the cool kids table, so everybody take a deep breath. But if you want to have a successful channel, and my channel's successful, you guys can go check out the analytics. On average, I net add about 9 or 10 people a day. And so I'm very happy with that growth. That's great for a truck driver channel on YouTube. But the way you grow a channel is you consistently put out good content. And hopefully, there's a little luck involved. Hopefully, enough people see what you're doing, like what you're doing, that they hang around and watch it week after week. And that's the one thing I'll put up against any YouTube channel. I've got ridiculously loyal viewers. You guys remember a few weeks ago when my phone crashed, we were down for 10 minutes and people hung around and waited for me staring at a blank screen. And so that's the most impressive thing you guys have done. That really had an impact on me. That's why I stay in here and answer questions as long as I do, because I would have probably left, but you guys hung around. And I did send a couple of messages in the comments, hey, I'll be right back. My phone crashed. But I can't tell you what an impact that had on me that you guys hung around like that. First time I saw you was on the live feed when you and Coach were going to throw down. Ha. Yeah. You know, I think some people think that when you have a YouTube channel, you're going to be perfect. And I'm far from perfect. I've got a temper. I've shared that with y'all on here. And I regret how that situation went down. I wish that, once something's on the internet, it's there forever. And I've seen it. Several people have sent me clips of it. I should have disengaged and not even engaged him. But it's out there. Some people think I was justified in what I did, but I don't want that image of me on YouTube. My grandkids watch this stuff, and I want to be a positive role model, and that's definitely not being a positive role model. And so I do regret that. I went on Coach's Live last night, and he said tonight in the comments that he would come on my live if he was invited. It's not something we have planned or in the works. Tonight or last night was kind of a spur of the moment thing. It's not going to be a regular thing. I'm not going to be on there every Wednesday. I really am too busy to do that. But occasionally, if it makes sense for him to come on my channel, or if it makes sense for me to go on his channel, then we might do that. Well, I appreciate that, Frank. Something I'm trying to do, and you guys can help me with this. If you're with a good company, have somebody from that company reach out to me. My email's in the ticker there, truckertodd806@gmail.com. I don't mind bringing other companies on and letting them talk about their company, what they think is good, and getting that information out there. So if you're at a company you like and they want to come on, just have them email me and we'll try to put something together. I would love for this to be a place that a lot of companies could come and share information, because the more information we can get out there, the better we're all going to be. Well, yeah, I'll probably be through there tonight. I've got 9.5 hours left, so I'm going to get a lot of it driven tonight. My GPS says that it is like 15 hours away. Yeah, 15 hours and 38 minutes. So I'll be about 6 hours from there when I stop tonight. unless I get tired. I'm not going to drive tired, but I'm going to drive as far as I can tonight when I get off this live. And yes, there will probably be some Bang energy drinks involved, and definitely several Coke Zeros. So this truck's been doing really good. Still hadn't had any issues. I had a flat repair at Love's, and they didn't repair the flat. It still leaks. So it's a slow leak. About every other day, I got to get out and air it up. But yeah, I did buy one, and I'm picking it up the last weekend of this month and driving it back to Texas. And so that kind of information's up in there. But there will be videos. We'll talk about it on the channel, and hopefully we'll hang on. I got to fix some things real quick. All righty. Yeah, hopefully we'll have some information on that other truck. Yeah, it's no problem, Rooster Cruiser. It's like I say, and sometimes even moderators will do this. They'll see a comment and they'll think it's meant in a bad way. I'm not like some other channels. You can disagree with me on here, and you're not going to get blocked because you disagree with me. What I'm hoping is that we can have a civil discussion and learn from each other. But some people that's possible, and some people it's not. So the problem with being a local, let's get down to that comment. The problem with being local is where I live in Lubbock, Texas, it goes to about a $10 to $15 an hour job. There's a company in Lubbock right now for flatbed doing local work that pays $650 a week, working 45 hours a week. And they wonder why they can't get any drivers. I live in Lubbock, Texas, and it's a college town. And because of that, it kind of drives the wages down. And so it's not really something I could do right now. But, if that other truck works out, maybe there's some opportunities there. But I really do like traveling around and meeting everybody and seeing the country. And I do like being home, but I go home enough that it's not really an issue for me. And I stay as long as I want, sometimes 2 weeks, but usually about 4 to 7 days is what I'm there. I don't know about for local. I've never tried to do it for local. There's a tanker company in Lubbock that I say Lubbock, they're in a little town right north of Lubbock. I almost went to work for them as head of their truck driving school, and this was several years ago. And at the last minute, I decided to just go back to trucking. It was going to pay like $60,000 a year, so it wasn't bad money for Lubbock, but I just knew I could make more in a truck. So home for me is Lubbock, Texas, home of the Texas Tech Red Raiders. So originally when I came to Swift, I was out of the Greer, South Carolina terminal, and that didn't work well for several reasons. One of the main ones being they're on Eastern time and I'm on Central time in Texas. The three closest terminals from me are all about 350 miles away. There's El Paso, Oklahoma City, and Lancaster, Texas. And I'm out of that Oklahoma City terminal. And so that's how that's gone. And I'm not just saying this, I've got the best OOC in the company, in my opinion. I wouldn't want to go to a different division or anything if I wouldn't have him. Alex is thinking about going local. Kids are getting older and they want him home more. Yeah, local or dedicated might be a good option. And Swift has a lot of that stuff. Depending on where you live, you could check with them and see. So the answer to this question is they watch some of them. They don't watch every video. They're busy people. They don't watch every video. but they do watch when they can. And so they're probably not going to like tonight's video. But the number one compliment I received from you guys is that you guys like my honesty. And I try real hard to tell you the truth and tell you how it is. And so that's what I'm doing tonight. And sometimes the truth is uncomfortable. Sometimes it's not what you want to hear, but and sometimes it is. And so they've told me, being an independent contractor, that they they're not going to try to regulate what I say or anything. They hope that I'll do like I've been doing and show both sides of the story as best as I can, and that's what I've tried to do. I've tried to give their side of it, but with what happened last night, it's really hard to give their side of it. And I'm not blaming Michelle. Michelle didn't make those policies. They told her this is the policy, and she's passing it on. So it's not Michelle that has done all this stuff. It's somebody in Swift leadership. And I'm not even saying that they're bad policies. I'm just saying we need clarification, and we need to stick with what we do so that we can run a business just like they're trying to run a business. Good old Austin, Texas. I've thought about taking my travel trailer down there and checking out the music scene. I've never done that. I'm hoping this year I can do a little more vacationing. What's your advice if you can? I was taking Pride Truck Sales full maintenance lease truck for $3,800 roughly a month compared to if I buy a truck, $35. It scares. Yeah. So here's the problem I've got with a full maintenance. Sorry, there's another plane going overhead. A full maintenance lease. I had one of those at Western Flyer Express. The problem is you're thinking the company will maintenance the truck the way you would maintenance the truck. So I told the story about my air conditioning went out in the middle of summer in California, and I wanted to just run to the TA and get it fixed. Oh no, since we're paying the maintenance, we've got to find you a load back to Oklahoma City to fix the air. So I drove that truck over a week in over 100-degree heat with no air conditioner. And people automatically, when I tell this story, people think I'm bad mouthing Swift's MRP. The difference is Swift has 38 terminals that you can get maintenance done at. So even if Swift says, well, you got to go to a terminal to get that AC fixed, you can probably be at a terminal within 1 day, no matter where you're at in the country. 2 days at the most. It's not going to take you over a week to get to a Swift terminal like it did me at Western Flyer, because they just got the one terminal in Oklahoma City. So I'm not a big fan of these. Man, what did my phone just do? I'm not a big fan of these lease deals like that where they handle all the maintenance. Oh, really? I've been there a couple of times lately. I'm surprised I hadn't ran into you. But yeah, that's where my OOC is, Oklahoma City. And the guys at that terminal, even the shop, they're really, really good. Well, maintenance should always scare you. That's why I say save as much money as you can. I've told the story about the International I had, that it was going to cost $43,000 to do an in-frame on the Cummins engine. So even if I'd have had $40,000 in the bank, it wouldn't have been enough. And so constantly be saving until you have enough you can pay cash for a truck. Keep saving. My good friend Joe just did a $10 super chat. Thank you, man. I love this channel, straight talk and honest. Again, for those of you that missed it, he started a new series where he kind of does trucker life in the eyes of a company driver, and it's really, really good. He's put out 2 episodes. One of them came out today. If you guys hadn't seen it, go check it out. It's really good. I'm enjoying it, and I hope he keeps that going for a while. Let's see what else we got here. Alex is pretty much on a dedicated now. He's usually driving Texas to Missouri and back. Yeah, that wouldn't be a bad run. My problem is living in Lubbock. I'm over 300 miles west of I-35. So a lot of those opportunities don't exist for me. It's even JB Hunt and Schneider. I'm not even in their hiring area unless I want to drive team. And so if that kind of tells you how remote it is. But I love living in Lubbock. My family's in the area. I've got some family in East Texas too, but I really want to stay in the Lubbock area if at all possible. GPS, are you doing that with Swift? Because they have an I-35 corridor dedicated, and I didn't know if that's what you're doing last night or not. Or, I mean, if that's what you're doing or not. So last night, Michelle came on Jason's channel. I was on there too. And a bunch of the stuff we had been told had changed. And we're not real happy about it. Or I don't want to speak on Jason's behalf. Y'all can ask Jason what Jason thinks. Me personally, I don't like when you move the goalposts in the middle of the game. Set the rules, and that's what the rules are. Knight say they're running it, so there you go. Yeah, I would say Knight has done a lot of positive things, but we got to get some clarification on this stuff. And they have, anybody that works here that knows, they have meetings upon meetings upon meetings. Let's make one of those meetings about, hey, is there going to be a down payment or not? Hey, is it 2 weeks with no truck payment or 4 weeks with no truck payment? Hey, can they pay the trucks off early or not? And before you guys jump on me about read your contract, it does not say in the contract. My contract shows week by week by week what I owe for that truck. And so generally when you have a contract that shows week by week by week, that's what it would cost you to pay that truck off on that week. I guess I don't have any moderators anymore. I've been trying to be respectful and answer some of the silly questions, but I'm going to skip some of them. And if it's really a serious question, you guys can email me and we'll talk about it after the show. Yeah, I have been using the load board. This load I booked that I'm under right now that I just picked up here was a load board load. It's pretty good. You got to keep in mind all the freight's not on there. It's solo OTR dry van freight is all that's on there right now. And so it's been pretty good, but sometimes, especially when I want to go home, I have to work with dispatch. They might have to pull something out of another account or something. And they are going to add more stuff and more third-party freight, but it's still in beta test, and this is not the finished product. And it's still got a way to go, quite honestly. It's very good, but it's far from being a finished product. And that's partly why they want experienced guys on there that have ran load boards before and that know the basic information you need to know. GPS says owner operator. Ah, okay. Yeah, that's not bad if you could set that up on your own. Yeah, a lot of people carry sleeping bags. I've got full sheets on the bed, tons of blankets. So I'm safe even if I get stranded somewhere. Yeah, so the way you switch terminals is you contact your current terminal and you talk to the terminal manager and explain to them what's going on. They're not going to want to do it every week, so there needs to be a pretty good reason why you want to switch. And try talking to the terminal manager first and going that route. If that doesn't work, email me and I'll try to help you. I'll get some other people involved and we'll try to get it done. I recommend each and every one of you be at a terminal that's in your time zone. So if you live, Eastern time, be on Eastern time zone terminal. If you live in Central time zone, be with a Central time zone terminal, things like that. But yeah, try your terminal manager first. And if that don't work, then holler at me and I'll try to help you. All right, Fran. So the way you moderate, because you've got a wrench. If you see somebody that says something out of line, click on their name, and you can either put them in timeout, or you can remove their comment, or you can hide them from the channel, which means they can watch, but they can't comment. If they disagree with me, that's fine. If you think they say something disrespectful or that goes over the line, then you can decide how far you want to take it. But those of you that are moderators, it means I trust you, and just use your best judgment. Yeah, I know a lot of guys that's done it, and I don't know how effective it is. I heard some guys say they got on it and they still ran to other places outside of I-35. So just do your research on it, but it might be better just staying doing what you're doing right now. Chris said, sorry if he missed something, been watching and trying to book a load. I gave up on that. don't book a load. Watching this show is far more important than generating revenue. I'm joking, man. I get it. Chris has a channel too. He's still getting it off the ground, but he's a great resource for information as well. The current terminal I'm out of just ain't cutting it. They're of no use. Yeah, the terminals, I don't really use them. I contact the planners directly and go that route. The less cooks you have in the kitchen, the better it seems to work for me. But it could be when you call and talk to the terminal manager, they might not realize you're dissatisfied. And when you talk to them, you may get that situation resolved. But just whatever you do, don't call them and cuss them out. Call and act like a professional. I know you will. Tell them what's bothering you and see if there's a solution there. You might be surprised. I've had good luck talking to them in the past. This video is probably not helping my cause, though. My good friend John that I met the other day just did a $20 super chat. Thank you so much, John. I really, really appreciate it. The next time I see you, I'm going to buy you lunch. I didn't want to buy you McDonald's, though. I wanted to buy you a better dinner than that. And you was in a hurry, and I was too. But it was great to meet you. And I hope we cross paths again. Thanks, friend. I really am glad you're here too, by the way. So you're already experiencing it. Yeah, I just I didn't want to give you false hope and you be thinking, oh, I'll never leave I-35, and then they send you over to Louisiana or something, and then you're mad at me. So that I was just I try my best to be honest and fair with you guys. I really do. I agree with Chris. My big beef with Swift right now is, well, my phone won't bring it up. There it went. We need consistency. Let's have a policy and let's stick with it. That's supposed to be in the contract. Maybe they need an addendum to the contract where they add that stuff in there. But I do got that other truck coming, and I may lease it on to Swift if I'm impressed with how it does coming back from Illinois, or I may park it, or I may take my toys and go to another playground. We'll see what happens in the coming weeks. But those of you that are subscribed, you'll be along for the journey, and I really am grateful to each and every one of you. Even those of you that hate my guts, I'm still glad you're here. Had a truck break down and they hadn't been able to get me a replacement truck. My other truck is 500 miles away in a shop. Thanks for the advice. Yeah, see, that's another thing. Should this truck go down and should I have trouble getting parts, I've got another one I could hop right into, put insurance on it, and go to work. I wouldn't have to do a truck rental fee or nothing like that. So that's something else to consider in the mix as well. And so, but I just thought it was funny. A lot of guys, it was funny that it happened today. The guy's like, you're Mr. Swift. You're a crook. You only care about referrals. And I started laughing, and I was like, you really need to watch tonight's video. I will promise you that nobody at Swift is loving what I have to say tonight. And that other YouTube channel, again, it's not Jason. The other one, the much smaller channel that loves to badmouth me. It's two guys over there every Tuesday. They're probably not liking what I'm saying tonight either, but if I don't tell you guys the truth, I just got to. It's the deal I made with you guys from the beginning. You'll have to sue them and they will pay us. Just put it in your contract so you can't sue anymore. Yeah, I'm not a litigious person. I'm not going to be the one that sets a lawsuit in motion. I might be the guy that joins it later, but I'm not that guy. I would much rather, just like, even though I've got a bad temper, I don't want to be the guy out there fist fighting anymore. I'd much rather sit down at a table and negotiate and work something out. Uh, these same guys at Swift that have issues with me, uh, the YouTubers, I don't care. They can do their thing. Uh, their dried up channel, they can do what they want over there. It's not growing. It's really just a thorn in my side. But the people at Swift, the policymakers, I'd be happy to get a load to Phoenix and sit down with them and iron this out. And I don't think they should just bring me. Bring a couple of people, and let's sit down and let's figure out something that works for everybody. Let's be honest, 99% of the people that work here don't have enough to pay a truck off cash early, maybe a month early or something like that. So it's not really an issue for a lot of people. And so why make it an issue? Let's figure it out. Let's find out something that they're comfortable with, something we're comfortable with. I told this to a couple of guys today. If you owed me $500 and you said, Trucker Todd, I want to pay you that 500 cash right now. And I said, nope, I don't want your $500. I want you to give me $5 a week for 3 years. Why would I do that? Why wouldn't I go ahead and take your $500 while you've got it? And I don't understand it from Swift's standpoint. If I owe 180 on the truck, 185, I don't know without pulling my contract out and looking at today's date, whatever I owe them, why wouldn't they take that money now and say, nope, we want to wait 3 years for it? Anything could happen in the next 3 years. I could die and they might not ever get the money. I could total the truck next week and they might, well, they'd probably get it from insurance then, but you get the point I'm making. Uh, and so I don't know if they're for sure not wanting to finance any balloon payments. Fine, say it. Say, nope, it's not an option. You get to the end and you're $1 short. We're going to make you get another truck. Turn that one in. Just tell us what the rules are so we can play the game. You know, we just finished watching the Super Bowl, and neither team could have played that game had they not known what the rules are to the game. Or if at halftime the coach or the referees change the rules. We've got to have rules and guidelines so that we can run our businesses. I love you, Todd, but I'm leaving Swift soon. I've actually gotten really depressed lately. It's time to go. It's not worth it anymore. Well, I share your frustration. I think you guys can see it in tonight's video. I'll be happy to try to help you if you want to email me, but I'm just one person and I don't have near the influence I once had, but I will gladly try to help you if you want that help. But I understand your frustration, and I'm also a little frustrated right now. It's still a great place to work, but there's some bugs that need to get ironed out, and they need to get ironed out real quickly. Been following you for 5 years plus since Roadrunner days. Oh gosh, man, when you say it like that, it makes me sound old. And you truly care about people. This is Edie, by the way. Hello from San Angelo, and well, thank you very much. I had never seen you in the comments before that I can remember, but man, that's really nice that you've stuck with me all this time through all the craziness. That means a lot. It really does. That's true. I don't know why they do what they do sometimes, but sure try to find out because my business model is like theirs. Billionaires know best. Yeah, and what you'll find in a lot of these companies is the upper echelons, the real billionaires, don't know what's going on at the lower levels. I had a guy at another company, again, this was not Swift. He was the VP of safety and he didn't know that all our trucks at that company had the little brick on the front bumper. Now, you would think the VP of safety would be familiar with the safety equipment on the trucks at his company, but he didn't have a clue. And so imagine when you go even higher up the ladder than that. A lot of the day-to-day operations stuff they don't see. They read a lot of reports and do stuff like that. And as I said, I'll be happy to sit down and meet with any of them. It doesn't have to be a public thing like Mother Trucker did. I don't have to shoot a week's worth of videos there, but let's sit down, me and them, or me and them and whoever else they want to have in the room, and let's get some clear, definitive answers so that when I give you guys information, it's good information and you can take what I tell you to the bank. And so I left last night feeling really confused and honestly kind of disheartened and depressed to a degree because I put all my eggs in one basket here. I love working here, and then they kind of switch the rules of the game on us, and so I really don't know where to go from here. And I don't mean company wise. I get tons of offers, but that Volvo is getting more and more tempting every day, though. I can tell you that. And like I say, cosmetically, it's not the greatest looking truck in the world, but I can't wait to show it to you. It's the first truck I ever paid cash for, and I say that I gave him, I mailed him $2,000, and I got to pay the rest when I pick it up. And he told me he'd finance it if I needed to, but I think I can just pay for it up front. And I really want to do that so that I can tell you guys, hey, I paid cash for this truck. But there's a lot of expenses in there, getting the permits to move it back to Texas, the airplane ticket to Chicago, and also we'll see what I'm able to do in one fell swoop. I got a 9-month-old at home, and the money here lately is just $1,000. Nope, I'm done. I can't seriously have no motivation, but I have high hopes for you, and I hope you dominate it. So this week I had an average, well, I say that, they're still calculating it. It looks like it's going to be at worst an average week, and at best it may be a really, really good week. So we'll wait and see. But yeah, I've had some moments this week where I sweated, and then a load came in at the last moment. And the load board is handy in some instances, in some instances it's not. So we all reach our breaking point where we got to leave. Part of the problem I had was I stayed at some companies a lot longer than I should have, and I got myself in a financial bind. And if you're making $1,000 a week, like I said, I'll be happy to help you try to figure out why, try to figure out how to get it better. But I totally get having a 9-month-old at home and needing to take care of your family. And I wish you the best. And I hope even if you leave Swift, or if I leave Swift, that you'll stay in contact and let me know how you're doing and continue to show up for these lives. I appreciate all your comments for sure. Yeah, it's I don't know. Sometimes I'm at a loss for words when this stuff happens. So the current truck I'm in is a 2022 Freightliner Cascadia. The truck I bought in Illinois is a 2008 Volvo VNL 670, and it's I got it really, really, really cheap, and it's pre-EGR, pre-def, so it's just a good old-fashioned Cummins iX with a 10-speed manual, and I'm excited to drive it without all the beepers and buzzers and all of that. But I'm also looking at, will I trade it in? Will I sell it for cash? Because I could easily sell it for a cash profit, and I'm kind of looking at my options there as well. But I'll be able to, I'm going to have videos coming out about it. We'll talk about it in future Thursday episodes, and I'll keep you guys in it. And I'll probably be reaching out to you guys for advice. You know, I'm not a know-it-all. You guys know things I don't know. And if you can provide me with helpful insight or advice, I'll gladly take it. Well, what people don't realize, it's even worse on the load board because not all of Swift's freight's on there. Right now, it's just solo over the road dry van freight. So a lot of the not dedicated, but the warehouse stuff that they have that's drop and hook at both ends, it's not on there. So you've still got to contact a Swift planner and get those loads. But I've been hearing for about 2 or 3 weeks that the Southeast is real bad right now. And so I've been kind of avoiding it until you guys tell me that it's better. I got kicked out of the Facebook group that those other guys have with that other YouTube channel. And they got mad at me, kicked me out of there. And that's where I used to get a lot of information to share with you guys about where freight's good, where freight's bad. And so I just have to rely on you guys to send me information. If you guys can lobby those guys and get me back in that Facebook group, it would really help me help you guys. But I'm not going to cry about it. I'm not going to beg about it. They want to be immature and childish. They can be immature and childish. But yeah, that's why I don't have a lot of that insight anymore. They've got insiders in the Swift office that they've kissed up to that will give them information. Awesome. Yeah, I hope you'll stay in touch. I really do. You know, people hear me say that on these videos and they think I'm just saying that to look good or sound good. I really do hope you guys will stay in touch, and I really hope you'll keep watching. Keep in mind, though, I've got a lot of people calling. So if I don't answer, leave me a voicemail. I'll get back to you as quick as I can. Usually it's the same day. Usually it's within a couple hours. Sometimes it goes over that, though. But I try my best to return every call. I don't purposefully ignore anybody. And I know I hadn't mentioned it lately. If you guys aren't subscribed or haven't given this video a thumbs up yet, please do that. It helps me out with YouTube. And I really appreciate it when you guys do that. Oh, yeah. Well, not only them, there's a lot of companies that's not going to let you do a lease purchase in Illinois. And most of the companies that would let you, you don't want to do it. It's going to be those Chicago-based foreign-owned companies. And it's, you know, I'm not going to get on politics here, but elections have consequences, and these blue states keep entertaining these stupid policies that are driving businesses out, and it makes it hard on good guys like you that want to go to work. So look for a lot more companies to not want to do independent contractors in Illinois. There's not a law in the books there yet, but there's just enough of a risk that there might be that these companies don't want a chance. Again, it goes back to that business plan, like we were talking about consistency with Swift. If they're making business plans for 5 or 10 years down the road, and they're looking at independent contractors 5 or 10 years down the road, they don't want to contract you on and in 5 years have to cut you loose because your contract is turned illegal by some silly law or something. So that's why it's happening. But anyway, I don't want to get on politics. You guys vote your conscience and we'll all live with the results. It's true, Southeast is terrible. Hadn't been over there till last week. It's terrible not go back unless I'm going home. Yeah, a lot of people are complaining about that whole area over there. Yeah, you know, they claim they don't know me, and that's fine. You can go back. They interviewed me on their channel once or twice and talked about what a great resource of information I was and all of this, and now they don't know me, and I'm giving out bad information, and they spend all day correcting what I say and things like that. Yet they're not picking up any subscribers out of all the people they're helping, and they get about the amount of views I've got right now on their live when I'm not on. If I go up against them, they get half what I get. And in 24 hours later, if you look at those analytics, I outdo them 3-1. So it would benefit them if they could find a way to work with me. But now that I know what kind of people I'm dealing with, I don't care if we work together or not. What they're doing is poison in trucking, in my opinion. And you get a little bit of help and you get a lot of poison. And that's just my opinion. I know some of you are going to go tell them I said this. Again, I want to be very clear. I'm not referring to Jason in this instance. Those of you that worked at Swift, you know exactly who I'm talking about. Yeah, exactly, friend. It's the politicians. It's not Swift. Yep, it's the Russians because they don't care what the laws are here anyway. They'll pack up and change the name of the company and start over in the exact same building with new decals on their truck a few weeks later. It's the FMCSA needs to really crack down on that. And a few years ago they said they were going to, but it hasn't materialized yet. So we're coming up on the 2-hour mark. We're about 10 minutes away from the 2-hour mark. If you guys got something you want to put up, we'll still hit it. If not, I'm going to wrap it up and start driving here in a few minutes. But yeah, you know, and say what you want about me and Coach. We're still working together. We've had our disagreements, but we still work together on occasion. And me and those other guys, not Coach, it'd be great if we could work together too, because in theory, we all want the same thing. We all want drivers to do well, whether they work at Swift or somewhere else. And if we could find a way to get along and work together and share information, I mean, those guys that have that Facebook page, they may not like what I'm saying on here, but if I was in there, I could help other drivers, which is what they claim to want to do. And it would draw attention to their channel, which would also help what they want to do. But instead, they view it as a competition. They try to take me down, try to get my insurance canceled, threatened to shoot me, and Swift did nothing about it. And so, I don't know what, I ain't too worried about two old men trying to shoot me, but whatever. Um, I don't know what to say about it. If they really cared about drivers, they'd have me in that group so that I could distribute the latest information. And, you know, they wouldn't be trying to get Swift personnel to not come on my Tuesday show either. And I know for a fact there's been some coercion going on there too. Swift got enough problems, and not to get along with your own comrades is bad for the company. Yeah, yeah, and I've tried. You guys know, and I've taken a lot of criticism for it. People say, "Why do you keep forgiving this person or that person? Why do you give them another chance? You know you're going to screw you over again." Because I'm trying to benefit drivers, and if I go on these other shows, and I've been on two of them, so I'm not talking about one specific person here. It exposes me to an audience that normally wouldn't see my content, and so hopefully I pick viewers up. Hopefully they get a different view or a different perspective based on what I said. And it's the same thing as a politician going on, a liberal going on Fox News or a conservative going on CNN. They're doing it because they're trying to reach a broader audience. And that's all I'm trying to do. All right, Chris, have a good night. Yeah, we're going to wrap it up soon. I'm not going to sleep, but I'll be driving all night. And typically, when these videos end, my phone blows up. So if you call tonight and you don't get me, it may be tomorrow, but I will get you called back. Or you can just wait till tomorrow and try to call me. Typically, Saturday and Sunday's a little slower. You'll have better luck getting through to me. But no need to machine gun call. Just leave a voicemail, and I'll get back to you as soon as I can. I don't purposefully avoid any calls. Even like I say, you guys that hate my guts, if you want to call me tomorrow and tell me I got every detail in this video wrong, that's fine. I'll talk to you. I'll hear what you got to say, but I'm going to be respectful to you, and I hope you'll be respectful to me. And so every week I think's getting a little better on here. We're asking good questions, and I'm learning a lot, as well as I hope you guys are learning a lot. And I find myself looking forward to doing it, and that's really good. But if anybody's got anything else, we got about 5 minutes till the 2-hour mark, and then I'm going to cut loose if we don't have anything else. I really hate driving at night, and I don't know how far I'll get tonight, but I'm going to see what I can do. Uh-oh, something happened. My phone just crashed. Okay, I'm back up. One of my phones just crashed. Anything else before we tie this one off? All right, folks, I appreciate y'all coming in tonight. Thank you for everything and all the super chats tonight and everything. We'll see you for sure on Tuesday, and I may have something before then. Chris says he's heading to Monroe, Georgia. Good deal, man. Be careful. Hopefully you can get a load out of there. Fran said it's pretty tough in that area right now, but I wish you the best. And I'm losing my voice, as y'all can tell. I'm about to get on the road as well. Thanks, Fran. You be safe too. Thanks again, everybody, for watching. I'm out. Bye-bye.